Blessed day, everyone. Greetings to you in the name of the Father, the Creator, Allah, Yah, Yod-He, Va-O-He, Elohim, God in our modern day term. In the name of the Son, Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah, the Savior, our anointed one, the one who's going to come and redeem us all. This is Neophyte DAG bringing you another message. And in this message, it's heavenly signs before the great sign, the lights that are coming to redeem and restore this planet to where it was and what it's going to be. And the return of the Messiah, the revelation of the Messiah, the revealing of the Messiah. There are 5 signs that are to come before these 2 things come, the great sign and the Messiah, the Son of Man, Michael, is revealed. This is taken from Luke 21, verse 25, which is the signs before the great sign and the revealing of the Son of Man, the revealing of Israel, the revealing of the Messiah. What is Luke 21, verse 25 telling us? It's telling us there shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, in the star, and upon the earth. And it's going to perplex everyone that's on the earth. They can't figure out what's going on because they were not connected to the Holy Spirit, which is going to tell them what's going on. The seas and the waves are going to be roaring as well. These signs are to come to warn us before the major signs. One of the major signs is going to be something of spiritual movement. The other major sign is going to be destruction of the planet for those who did not prepare themselves. So the 5 signs is taken from the 5 wise virgins, the 5 foolish virgins, the same 5 that we're talking about, no different. What are these signs? In the signs that are covered, the sun, it's going to be solar flares, coronal mass ejections. It's also going to be solar eclipse that's connected with the moon. You're going to have blood moons and eclipses. That's the sun and the moon combined. In the star, there are going to be stars and planets that are beginning to appear, that are going to appear in our visual signs of the skies, the heavens. A lot of things going on in the heavens above us. We need to now turn our view upward to the skies to see these things. That's the star sign that's coming. Alignments in the star, stars appearing, planets appearing. The sign upon the earth, visible signs, earthquakes, volcanoes, rain, thunderstorms, tornadoes, all type of things that are going to be on the earth, perplexing the people on the earth. They have no idea what's going on because their leaders, whether the political leaders or the spiritual leaders, either do not know, and in many cases they do know, but they're not going to tell you. Because these are the signs that are to tell you that you're free from them very soon. All those who are holding you in these bondages, these restrictions, these ignorance of what's going on, and the ignorance within your own self about who you are. That's their warning sign that their time to hold my people hostage is over. So they're not going to tell you about these signs. There's no interest in them to tell you that, hey, the time for me to govern over you and to rule you and to fool you up is over. They're not going to tell you that. So they're going to keep you in that perplexity until the signs come upon you when it's too late. But I'm here to take you out of perplexity and bring clarity to you about what's going on. The oceans are going to be uproared by what's going on the planet itself. Earthquake is going to move the ocean. Volcanoes are going to move the ocean. Plus the water will be stirred up. So these are the signs Luke 21 verse 25 is telling you about. The signs, the 5 of them summarized on this page. First one, we're going to talk about the movement in the sun. Solar eclipses, going to happen. That's the first one to start it off. The sun and the moon combine in its sign give you solar eclipse. It started in 2017, and all the signs that are to start, they're going to run for 7 years. If anyone who's an initiate, anyone who's of Israel, know that 7 is a very important number in our prophetic timing. Prophetic events happen within 7 years. So this is a 7-year eclipse. One is going to start in 2017. The other one is going to end in 7 years later to bring an end to the start. One has already occurred in August 2017. One is going to occur April 2024. The second sign, the planet will be shaken by coronal mass ejections caused by solar flare. What is going on now on our planet? Whole bunch of solar flares and a whole bunch of coronal mass ejection. That also, the big one, started in 2017, and it's going to continue and ramp up all the way up until 2024. Second sign. Third sign, there's a gradual appearance of a star, of a planet that's going to come within view of our own planet. Gradually it will appear. Those who have eyes to see will see. It's called a blue Kachina, a blue star Kachina. Do your research on it. It's part of the Hopi prophecy. The Hopi are dark-skinned Hebrew Israelites that were in America. So in case you want to get yourself all twisted up, these are Indians, actually they were you, Israel. You, but your history was changed to move you away from you being the native Indians, Hebrew Indians that were on the land of America and that were also in the Caribbean. So it's you. So get it out of your head. These are random prophecy. That's you making those prophecies and you telling yourself that now, hey, this is my reminder. That's going to happen, and that's going to start in 2017. It's going to become more visible in 2022, and it's going to come to a point where it disappears in 2024. Again, 7 year. The blue star Kachina, there'll be 2 of them, a twin. One for the northern hemisphere, one for the southern hemisphere. They are the stars that's going to bring back balance to this planet, because the planet is tilted out of balance, and it's going to balance it back and change the rotation of the planet. The fourth signs, as a result of these 3 other signs, earthquake will be devastating the land. Earthquakes on top of earthquakes until we get tired of them and more perplexed by them. And the earthquakes are going to be followed by volcanoes, because 1, 2, and 3 will be heating up the planet. And they'll cause volcanoes to become more frequent, more active, and just continuously erupt. Is that happening now? Are these 5 things happening now? The answer is yes, they are. So they have already started since 2017, so we're running late. This is a late message, but better late than never. It's best to have known than to not have known. So we come back to Luke 21, verse 25, because the Most High has been raising up his prophets and prophetess to tell us these things at this time. He has raised up prophets before in ancient time that has been telling us the same thing, and they put it in scriptures for us to know now. And the prophet now are getting understanding of it and telling you now. So these prophets are the ones that have been saying all type of things that are unpopular that people don't want to hear, because they're saying things that, hey, the world is going to be devastated by these things. No one want to hear that. They want to hear we're going back to normal. But anyone who's telling you things are going to go back to normal, run as fast as you can away from them. Run to the one who's unpopular or saying these one-off things, because those are the ones the Most High is raising up. The Most High isn't raising up popular people at this time, people that are part of the popularity contest. He's not raising them up. He's raising up the voices that are hated because of what they're saying, because it's giving people warning and rebuking people for what they're doing now and saying something bad is going to happen if you continue on that path. Those are the ones the Most High is raising up, unpopular topics that they're telling the people. And that's the same unpopular topic I'm going to tell you now, that these 5 things are occurring right now. They have started in 2017. They have reached their critical point now in 2022, and there are 2 years left in which they're going to work out their most devastating effects. So the time to prepare yourself is now, so you can be the 5 wise virgin and not the 5 foolish virgin that did not prepare themselves and kept on partying, marrying, and giving away in marriage. That means you're watching your game, you're going to your parties, you're going to your festivals, you're going to your concerts, you're chasing after your money, you're managing your business and how it's going to expand and how it's going to be big. All of that is of naught, because within a year to 2, these things are going to ramp up to their maximum and destroy everything that's being built upon right now. There won't be a stone left standing. 5 wise virgin that prepared themselves, moved themselves away from these physical things that has been tying them to the plan of our older brother, Lucifer, and his disciples. And they moved to the plan of the Father, which is gain your spiritual knowledge of yourselves, go within, and everything else will be added on to you. That's the 5 wise virgin. The 5 foolish ones kept on the same path that they've been going on, chasing after physical things that are of no value. The timeline given to us in the book of Daniel, this is it in front of you. Once you know where the starting point is, this is 2 timelines in one. One is the timeline, part of the timeline of the Messiah, the Son of Man, Michael, Israel, Lewis. And the other part is these signs when they're going to occur, the 5 signs I've been telling you about. I'm going to go through this very quickly. Daniel 9 verse 25 tells you about the time of the Messiah, the birth of the Messiah. Many people stay away from this verse. Rightfully so, because they don't have the arts to break it down. And you have to go to who has the arts? Lewis has the arts, and you learn the arts from Lewis. None shall know these truths except Michael. Michael is a code word for Lewis. Israel is a code word for Lewis. Now, the date that Lewis will be born, you have to go back to. Know therefore from the going forward to rebuild Jerusalem shall be 7 weeks. Now, what is the rebuild Jerusalem start time? That's the United Nations Resolution 181, paragraph 2, which authorized the establishment of Israel, the country Israel, and separating it between the land of Jerusalem and the land of Israel. That's the going forth to rebuild Jerusalem, because now they're giving you a fake Jerusalem in North Africa, aka Middle East. That's the start point. November 29th, 1947. Know that go forth from the time that they want to establish and rebuild Jerusalem, 7 years shall be the Messiah. Again, that's 7 playing out. 7 again. So now it's a biblical prophecy because the Messiah hasn't been born. So now you have to use biblical calendar to compute that time. Biblical calendar, 360 days. Biblical calendar doesn't use Gregorian days. That's when the person born now. Then you chip it back to Gregorian days. Using the biblical days, 7 years, time 360. It's not 7 weeks. That's to throw you off. It's 7 weeks, yes, but it's a week for a sabbatical, a Hebrew sabbatical. It happens once per year. So if it's 7 of those weeks, 1 each year, you get 7 years. Times 360 gives you 2,520 days. After November 29th, 1947, the Son of Man, the Messiah, Louis, Israel, whichever name you want to add to it, is going to be born physically on this planet October 22nd, 1954. Check it out. If you don't believe, do the math yourself. Then in that same prophecy, Daniel 9, verse 25, it says, "In 62 weeks shall be the coming forth of the Messiah." So if we know the 7 weeks is really years, 62 weeks is 62 years. Now he's born, so now you have to switch him to Gregorian time. 365.25 days per year gives you 22,630 days. 15 additional days for the leap year will bring you to October 22nd, 2016. That's the coming forth, but it's a biblical prophecy, so you have to now figure out the decimal that's associated with that. How many more days of the decimal you're going to get when you do 365.25? What's the decimal that comes after the number 22,630? When you convert that decimal to man days, you get an additional 154.41 days, which brings you to March 25th, 2017. That's the exact date that the Messiah will come forth. Spiritually, that's the day of his first spark, his spiritual spark. That's tied in with the 2017. That's the starting event for all of the 5 signs. All of them start in 2017. That's the correlation between the Messiah and the start of the 5 signs. We won't stop there, because now the Messiah, within the midst of that year, will cause the ceasing, the stopping of the oblation and the abomination to stop. And he's going to start the thing to make everyone joyful. That's what Daniel 9 verse 27 now tells you, in the midst of the year. That's the key word, the midst means 6 more months after he comes forward, he's going to start all these 5 signs that's going to cause the oblation and the abomination to stop in 7 years. I'll let it soak in for a little bit. So that brings you to September 23rd, 2017. That's when everything is going to kick off, the starting point in high gear, and it's going to continue for 7 years. Then it's done. That means everything is done. Everything has to be wrapped up within that 7-year time period. So next we move to Daniel 12 verse 7, where Daniel is asking, how long will they be allowed to do all these abominable things? The church, the politicians, the teachers, the preachers, all the various people that are not leading the children of Israel, the house of Israel, on the path of the Most High, on the plan of the Most High, but is keeping them on the plan of Lucifer. How long will they have before all bets are off? And it says, for a time, times, and half a time. They'll be allowed to do that from when the Messiah started the cessation of the oblation and the abomination, and everyone to become joyful. Time, times, and half a time gives you 3.5, which is time is 1, times 1 plus 1, that's 2. That's 2 and 1 is 3, plus half a time, 0.5. 3.5 when you add them all together. 3.5 years, 1,260 days, 42 months, whichever way you want to equate it to, you get back to the same thing. So when you measure this now in man's time, man's Gregorian calendar, you get from March 25th, 2017, 3.5 years added to that will get you to September 23rd, 2020. That's when all things shall be finished for the forces of evil, and they'll be on borrowed time. That's what kicks in the verse in Revelation says, the devil has come down in great wrath, knowing that his time is short. He has very little time to do his work. He has another 3.5 years before he's completely done. He's completely done after 3.5 years because the Messiah started the first 3.5, and now the other 3.5 is going to end the time of all the dark forces. 3.5 plus 3.5 equals 7. And a 7 comes back. 2017 it started. It's going to run for 7 years. Those are the signs. Within half that time, they shall be cut off. They're done. Their time is done and over with, and they'll be on borrowed time for the last 3.5. Given to you in the book of Daniel when properly interpreted. When you add the other 3.5 after September 23rd, 2020, you get March 24th, 2024. We're going to continue with the man time. That's what you get. So that's when all bets are off. They're done, done, done. That's why the 7 years for the star, Blue Kachina, to appear. 7 years for the solar eclipse. The first one occurred in 2017. The second one will occur in 2024. All bets are off. So right now we're in 2022. But you're not going to have until 2024 to, lack of a better word, I'm going to say it in my Jamaican word, to ramp around and waste time. Can't ramp around now. Now is not the ramping time. Can't be ramping right now because you're not going to get that full 3.5 years to ramp around because something is going to happen in 2022 to shut down that window for the forces of darkness so they can't hinder the forces of light, the children of light who are coming forth. That's where the Messiah comes in. He has to reveal himself, and the great sign has to occur. So those are the two things that are near to occur. They're not going to wait until 2024. So you have to get yourself ready because at any moment, those two, they have to occur. Something big is going to occur in 2022 by the end of 2022. It's going to occur by early 2023. It's going to occur. These two signs, the great sign and the revealing of the Son of Man. It's right around the corner. Make yourself ready. Prepare yourself. And I'm going to continue in the next message with the actual signs that have already occurred. So you know this is no fluke and the ramping is over. Prepare yourself. Be the wise virgin. Prepare yourself. You're being given the time now for you to prepare. Get yourself ready. The Third Testament, the book of true life, chapter 55, verse 20. I have always given you time to prepare and appoint the means for your salvation. Before sending my justice to receive an accounting from you at the end of an era, or phase, I have shown you my love, warning you and exhorting you, giving you as much plea and instances and encouragement to repent, meaning to change your way, reform, change your way. It's the same thing, to change from doing all these physical things, chasing all these physical things, aspiring to gain physical knowledge, aspiring to gain physical gains, and go for spiritual gains. Do good, bring in the Spirit, love, go after spiritual things, go within, stop chasing all the other stuff that's outside of you. You are given time, but the time is running out. It can't give you time forever. Time has to be shut down. It's shutting down at some time in 2022 to 2023, early 2023. It's shutting down. I'll give you more on that time later, but I'm giving you that window that you know your time is running short. You don't want to wait until last minute. You want to do it now, because you can't do it last minute then run in and say, oh, I'm in. No, 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 no. It says you're going to have to be practicing these things. We go to 3rd Testament, Book of True Life, same chapter 55, verse 18. For you, O Israel, the ark is the practice of my law. So you need enough time to practice that law of love. And all who fulfill my commandments in the most perilous and bitter days will find themselves within my ark, within my safety. So none of these things will be manifested upon you. All these 12 calamities that are coming, these 5 signs are going to culminate into 12 calamities. They're going to end result of them. You're going to get 12 calamities if you're not in that ark. And what is the ark? The ark is my law of love. Verse 19. And to all this humanity, I say again, the ark is my law of love. All who practice love and charity with their fellow man and women and with themselves will be saved. Nothing more I can add to that. It says very clearly. So I'm bringing this to you so you know that I'm telling you something unpopular. And yes, the unpopular people with the unpopular things, with the unpopular voice, those are the ones the Most High is raising up to bring his message. Because everyone else is going to be telling you, go after the physical stuff, money, drugs, sex, party, high life, buying things, mansion, house, car, vacations, all kind of things, saving my job so I can get money. You're going to be coming with that. The ones who are saying the popular things, that's not where the Most High is going now. He's telling you he's going to destroy this place. Get in his ark of love. Practice it. Give yourself enough time to practice. Don't come, Johnny come late or Mary come late and say, oh, I made it in time. No, you're not, because you did not practice this while you had the chance. You wait until last minute. Get into that practice now, because it's right around the corner. See how many times I'm telling you, time is short, it's short, it's short. 2022 is going to be such an active year. You're going to be in perplexity, as it says. Man will be perplexed out of his mind. Get yourself into the law of love. Practice it and be in that ark. Stand strong, be strong, and stay strong until I have part 2 of this message, where I'm going to give you now the signs that have already been occurring.